In 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, I read verse 3. For this is the will of God, even your sanctification, that you should abstain from fornication. People today, many professing Christians, have minimized and despised sanctification because now they are satisfied or feel satisfied without sanctification. Today's topic, the danger of satisfaction without sanctification. When you feel satisfied, when you are not sanctified, what is the danger? It's because you've forgotten so soon that this is the will of God, even your sanctification. If you do not do the will of God, how do you intend to get to the home of God in heaven? In John chapter 17, verse 17, John 17, verse 17. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. You see, sanctification, number one, is a second work of grace subsequent to salvation. That is, after you are born again, after you are saved from sin, after the external sins have been washed away from your life, you need the removal of the nature of sin. You need the removal of the inner tendency to sin. That is why he prayed for them. Sanctify them through thy truth. Thy word is truth. And who are the people Jesus was praying for? Why we said is the second work of grace is because these are people who are saved from sin, saved from the way of the world. In verse 16, they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. That is, Jesus said, as they are, so am I. They are like me. They are little Christ. That's why we call them Christians. They have been saved from sin. So the second work of grace now is done in their lives. Salvation, sanctification is the second work of grace subsequent to salvation. Number two, sanctification is the circumcision of the heart, is the purification of the inner being. Circumcision of the heart, purification of the inner being. That is, something within us is taken out. The nature of sin taken away. The tendency to sin rooted out of our heart. In Romans chapter 2, verse 29. Romans 2, verse 29. But he is a Jew, which one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart. It is heart circumcision in the spirit and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men but of God. Inner circumcision. In Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 6, it said, and the Lord thy God will circumcise the heart and the heart of thy seed, that thou mayest love the Lord thy God with all your heart, with all your soul, then you can live. There is the purification of the inner being. Number three, it is definite as an experience and is progressive in the sanctified life. That is, when we talk about sanctification, it is definite when we talk about the experience, and then it is progressive in the sanctified life. That is, we get sanctified at once, but we grow in the sanctified life. We don't just say, oh, because I'm sanctified now, I don't need more of holiness. You need more and more and more of it. In Hebrews chapter 2, verse 11, Hebrews chapter 2, verse 11, for both he that sanctified and they who are sanctified are all of one. What he's saying is, he that sanctified Jesus Christ, and they which are sanctified, we, the Christians who are saved, are now sanctified. He's telling us something here. They are sanctified. Past tense is you. That means sanctification is definite. Sanctification is done. Sanctification is there. And so those who say it's not definite, it's never done until we are dead, that is not true. Sanctification is definite, but then it is also, as the sanctified life is progressive, will grow in the life. In Ephesians chapter 4, verse 12, for the perfecting of the saint. The perfecting is still going on. We are sanctified as an experience, but we grow in the perfection. For the perfecting of the saint, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ, till we all come in the unity of faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. We grow in that experience.